Travis Decker.
Of Travis Decker being on the run.
In the search for the Washington father.
You got to be perfect every single day, Travis.
3 little girls, 9-year-old Paityn, who loved to draw, 8-year-old Evelyn, always full of questions, and 5-year-old Olivia, still missing her front teeth. On May 30th, they climbed into their father's truck. It was supposed to be just another weekend visit, but they never came home. They trusted him completely. After all, he was their dad, the man who was supposed to protect them from monsters, never imagining he was the monster. By Sunday night, all 3 girls would be gone, would vanish into the wilderness like a ghost. This is Crime Crossroad. I'm your host, and today we're diving deep into a case that's still unfolding, a manhunt gripping the Pacific Northwest, a story of betrayal so devastating it's almost unthinkable. 3 innocent lives stolen by the one person who should have died protecting them. This is the Travis Decker case, and he's still out there. Before we dive into this nightmare, I need you to understand something. This case involves the brutal murder of 3 children by their own father. We'll be discussing disturbing content, mental health crises, and systemic failures that cost innocent lives. If you're easily disturbed, this might not be the episode for you. But if you're ready to confront some harsh truths about how predators hide in plain sight, then buckle up. And if you're new to Crime Crossroad, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We cover cases like this every week, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Now, let's talk about Travis Decker, because to understand how a father could murder his own children, we need to understand the man behind the mask. On paper, Travis Decker looked like the American dream. 32 years old, military veteran, devoted father of 3 beautiful daughters, the kind of guy neighbors would describe as such a good father and always so helpful. But here's what we've learned. Sometimes the people who seem the most put together are fighting the biggest battles inside. Decker served as an Army paratrooper before becoming a National Guard instructor. He had the kind of survival training that could keep him alive in the wilderness indefinitely, the kind of tactical knowledge that makes him incredibly dangerous to pursue. People who knew him described someone who could build a shelter from nothing, hunt for food, navigate by the stars. Skills that seemed admirable when he was teaching other soldiers. Skills that are now keeping him one step ahead of a massive manhunt. But in 2023, when Decker left active duty, that carefully constructed facade began to crumble. The disciplined soldier started showing cracks. PTSD consumed him. Borderline personality disorder twisted his thinking. The man who once had structure, purpose, and a family to protect was now essentially homeless, living out of his truck, drifting between campgrounds like a man with nothing left to lose. His ex-wife, Whitney Decker, watched this transformation with growing terror. She knew better than anyone what he was becoming. She tried to warn people. She begged for help, but nobody was listening. May 30th, 2025. Mark this date because it represents a catastrophic failure of our system to protect innocent children. Picture the scene. 3 excited little girls getting ready for their weekend with Dad. Paityn probably packed her art supplies. She loved to draw. Evelyn was likely asking a million questions about where they were going. She was curious about everything. Little Olivia probably grabbed her favorite stuffed animal, not knowing she'd never see her bedroom again. Travis picked them up as scheduled. Whitney hugged each of her daughters goodbye, having no idea it would be the last time she'd ever hold them. The agreed-upon return time came and went. Whitney's calls went straight to voicemail. Her texts were ignored. hours turned into an entire day, with no word from Travis or the girls. That's when Whitney did what any terrified mother would do. She called the police. She explained that her mentally unstable ex-husband had their 3 young daughters and wasn't responding to any contact. She told them about his PTSD, his borderline personality disorder, his recent erratic behavior. Here's where this story becomes absolutely infuriating. Despite Whitney's desperate pleas, despite Travis's documented mental health crisis, despite every red flag in the book screaming danger, authorities refused to issue an Amber Alert. Their excuse: the case didn't meet their precious criteria. Instead, they issued something called an Endangered Missing Persons Advisory. No emergency phone alerts blasting to every cell phone in the state. No highway billboards with the girls' faces. No massive public search mobilization. Just bureaucratic paperwork, while 3 little girls were trapped with a man spiraling into madness. Whitney would later say she felt completely helpless, watching the system fail her daughters in their most desperate hour. She knew something terrible was happening, but nobody with the power to help seemed to care. For 3 days, Whitney Decker lived in a hell that no parent should ever endure. 72 hours of not knowing if her babies were alive or dead. 72 hours of praying, bargaining with God, and slowly losing her mind with fear, with despair, with unbearable worry. June 2nd shattered her world forever. Authorities finally located Travis's abandoned white GMC Sierra near Rock Island Campground, deep in Chelan County, Washington. This is remote country, the kind of place where cell phones don't work, where screams go unheard. What investigators discovered inside that truck will haunt them for the rest of their lives. Paityn, Evelyn, Olivia Decker, 3 innocent little girls who should have been home safe, arguing over TV shows, asking for one more bedtime story, begging to stay up just 5 more minutes, Mummy. Instead, they were found with plastic bags tied tight over their heads, their tiny wrists bound cruelly with zip ties. The medical examiner confirmed the cause: asphyxiation. Let that sink in. This wasn't rage. This wasn't an accident. It was planned, cold, deliberate. The calculated murder of 3 defenseless children by the one person on this earth they trusted the most. Travis Decker didn't just kill his daughters, he tortured them. He looked into their eyes as he bound their little hands. He heard their cries as he pulled those plastic bags down tight. He watched them die, and then he walked away. While authorities were still processing that horrific crime scene, Travis Decker was already executing what might be the perfect disappearing act. This is where his military training shifts, from impressive to absolutely terrifying. We're not dealing with some panicked amateur crashing through the woods. This is a former Army paratrooper with years of survival training, a man who knows exactly how to vanish, how to live off the grid indefinitely. Current intelligence suggests he's somewhere along the Pacific Crest Trail in Okanagan County, Washington. For those unfamiliar with this place, we're talking about thousands of square miles, dense forest, rugged mountain terrain, endless places to hide. It's like searching for a needle in a haystack, except this needle has military training and every reason in the world to stay hidden. The manhunt is massive. Chelan County Sheriff's Office, the FBI, Homeland Security, all working together. Helicopters circling overhead, specialized tracking dogs following cold trails, ground teams sweeping through dangerous, unforgiving terrain. But Travis Decker remains a phantom. What makes this even more chilling is the stark warning authorities have issued to the public. If you see this man, do not approach. Do not make contact under any circumstances. He's already proven what he's capable of. Children, his own children. He has absolutely nothing left to lose. Every hiker on those trails could be walking into a deadly encounter. Every camper could unknowingly come face to face with a desperate killer. a man who's spent weeks perfecting the art of staying invisible. He's out there, right now, watching, waiting, surviving. While this desperate manhunt continues, there's something we have to talk about. The catastrophic failures in our system that may have cost 3 innocent children their lives. Whitney Decker isn't just mourning the loss of her daughters. She's fighting for justice and accountability, and she's been brutally honest about the failures she sees at every level of the system meant to protect them. Just think about this timeline. On Friday, May 30th, Whitney reported her fears, her growing concern over Travis's crumbling mental state, and the fact that her children were missing. But no Amber Alert was issued, no urgent call to the public, no warnings flashing across phones or highways. And in those lost, precious hours, a massive search that could have made all the difference never happened. What if thousands of people had been looking for Travis's truck that day? What if his photo had been everywhere, on every phone, every screen, every billboard across Washington state? What if the public had been mobilized immediately, instead of 3 days too late? Would Paityn, Evelyn, and Olivia still be alive? A GoFundMe for Whitney has raised over $1 million, a reflection of a public heartbroken and outraged by this tragedy. But no amount of money can bring back 3 little girls whose lives were stolen because the system failed to listen to a mother's desperate warnings. Whitney said these were preventable deaths. And she's right. How many red flags were ignored? How many chances to stop this, to save them, were missed before Travis finally broke? This case has ripped the cover off some brutal truths. How we fail survivors of domestic violence, how we abandon struggling veterans, and how, time and again, bureaucracy wins out over the lives of children. As I'm recording this, Travis Decker remains at large. Every day he stays hidden is another day this nightmare continues for Whitney, for the community, and for everyone following this case. But this story raises disturbing questions that go far beyond one man's crimes. How many other Travis Deckers are out there right now, hiding behind uniforms and facades of respectability? How many other Whitney Deckers are desperately trying to protect their children from someone the system still considers trustworthy? This case should terrify every parent because it shows how quickly someone you trust completely can become someone you should fear most. It should anger every citizen because it shows how bureaucratic red tape can cost innocent lives. And it should motivate all of us to demand better mental health support for veterans, better protection for domestic violence victims, and better systems that actually listen when mothers say their children are in danger. Here's what you need to know right now, especially if you're anywhere near Washington state. Travis Decker is still out there. He's 32 years old, approximately 5 feet 10 inches, weighs around 180 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. He has extensive tattoos covering both arms and military survival training that makes him extremely dangerous. If you're planning to hike or camp anywhere in Washington, especially near the Pacific Crest Trail, Okanogan County, or any remote areas, you need to be on high alert. This isn't a game. This man has already murdered 3 children and has nothing left to lose. Travel in groups, stay on marked trails, trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Carry communication devices. Tell people exactly where you're going and when you'll be back. If you see anyone matching Decker's description, do not approach. Do not try to be a hero. Do not try to take a photo for social media. Call 911 immediately and get to safety as fast as possible. This man is not just dangerous. He's a proven child killer with military training who's been living in the wilderness for weeks. He will not hesitate to harm anyone he perceives as a threat. To viewers who might be in dangerous relationships or know someone who is, please don't ignore the warning signs. Domestic violence doesn't always look like what you see in movies. Sometimes it's the respected veteran, the trusted father, The person everyone thinks is such a good guy. If you're in immediate danger, call 911. If you need resources, the National Domestic Violence Hotline is 1-800-7997-233. You can also text START to 88788. These resources are available 24/7, and they can help you create a safety plan. If you're a parent fighting for your children's safety like Whitney Decker was, keep fighting, keep speaking up, keep demanding to be heard, document everything, get restraining orders, make noise until someone listens. Your children's lives may depend on it, and to everyone watching, we are all potential witnesses in cases like this. Stay vigilant. Pay attention to the people around you. If something seems off, trust your gut. That weird feeling you get about someone, don't ignore it. This is Crime Crossroad, and the Travis Decker case is far from over. We'll be following this manhunt closely, and we'll bring you updates the moment there are new developments. This monster needs to be caught, and justice needs to be served for Paityn, Evelyn, and Olivia. But here's what I need from you. If this case opened your eyes to how quickly trust can turn deadly, share this video. Someone in your circle might need to see this. Someone might be in a situation where they need to hear that their instincts are right, that their fears are valid. Hit that like button if you want more fearless, in-depth coverage like this. Subscribe and ring that notification bell, because we're not just covering cases. We're building a community of people who refuse to look away from hard truths. Comment below and tell me, what warning signs do you think we should all be watching for? Have you ever had a gut feeling about someone that turned out to be right? Your stories could help other viewers recognize danger before it's too late. Check out the video I'm dropping next week. We're covering another case from the Pacific Northwest where the system failed innocent victims. You won't want to miss it. And remember, in a world where predators hide behind smiles and uniforms, we have to be each other's early warning system. Stay suspicious, stay safe, and never ignore your instincts. Until next time, watch your back out there. This is Crime Crossroad, signing off.